she was great at what she did. I first knew her back in the 60s. She served on the school committee with my mother. Joan wasn't afraid of controversy. She wasn't afraid to stick to her guns when she thought something was important. She served as, I guess her title was vice chairman of the Republican Party in Massachusetts. Now, to come from Malden and be a Republican showed her independence. She wasn't one of these really right-wing Republicans. She was very progressive and stood for all the things that people in Malden stood for. In her professional life, she did a number of things. She worked in Malden at the high school as a ELL, English as an English learner language, and she loved that. She loved to work with those young people, and she would bring in, spend her own money to bring them stuff, to do things with them. Along the way, though, she became involved with Corita, I guess, Sister Mary Corita Kent, I guess is the full name, and actually became involved in merchandising her artwork. Corita has paintings at the Museum of Fine Arts, at the Metropolitan Museum in New York, the Whitney Museum. So it's kind of a big deal for Joan to have left the city through the high school and now at the library, these delightful paintings. And while those of us who knew her well, certainly her family, but others who worked with her and knew her as a friend, will remember her kindly, but folks coming after will, I think, know her because she will have left to the city these, as I say, these wonderful paintings.
The other thing I want to present is, you know, the largest painting is the one hanging out in the reading room that everybody can see. That we put there permanently, and we wanted everyone to see it. These are smaller, but that one makes an impression. And we really love the works of Corita, and Joan for handling them for us. So we're glad to get them, Tina. Thank you.
I've known Joan, or did know Joan, in so many different regards. Joan was a client of my office. She was a colleague of mine when I taught at Malden High School, in another era, in another galaxy, long, long time ago. And I remember when my brother was mayor and when Tom was on the school committee, interacting with Mrs. Holland and Joan and all the other school committee members on a fairly regular basis. And Mrs. Holland and Joan taught me a lot about politics, but more particularly, a lot about dignity and honesty and independence and how to deal with the politics on a daily basis. I like to think, Tina, that Joan's influence, Marguerite Holland's influence, helped me survive this long in state politics. Joan is somebody, as Dr. Holland said, whose legacy will never be forgotten.